If you're still buying chapstick from the store and not making it at home, you are definitely missing out because it's so easy. It takes only 3 ingredients and it'll save you a ton of money. Welcome to my channel, Megan House, where I show you how to make things at home. I've tried a ton of different lip balm recipes and some are way too complicated and some on the internet just don't work. But this 3 ingredient recipe is super simple and super effective. I'm gonna show you how to make it in this video. Here's everything you need. You're gonna need a kitchen scale because exact measurements are really important. Something to melt all the ingredients in. I'm gonna do a saucepan with a steamer rack and then use that as a double boiler, but you can use any double boiler method you have. For ingredients, we have jojoba oil, which I purchased from Brambleberry. We have some beeswax, which is really important because that's what hardens the chapstick. And then lastly, we have shea butter. This is my first beauty product recipe that I'm sharing on this channel, but I've been making beauty products in my house for 5 years, and jojoba oil, shea butter, and beeswax typically show up in a lot of the recipes that I use, and that's really important for me to not have a surplus of random butters and oils to make beauty products with, so I typically buy bulk amounts of all of these products. We're gonna do this in grams, and if you haven't tared before, sometimes a scale will have a tare button, but what you'll wanna do is put your container on before you press the power button, and it should go to 0. We're gonna do grams today. This smaller part of my scale on the right side actually gives me decimal points, so I'm gonna use that side versus this bigger side, which will only give me whole numbers. I'm gonna go in with 20 grams of jojoba oil. And then we're going to cancel the tare after each one. And we're gonna do 10 grams of beeswax. Tare it out again. And then we're gonna do 10 grams of the shea butter. And then anything you have left over from the process, I just rub right into my skin. I just have a 2-quart saucepan with a little steamer rack. And we're gonna boil. Here's what we have for our lip balm recipe. We're going to let this heat up in the double boiler until it melts all the way down. The beeswax will be the last ingredient to melt. I'm gonna put this in while the water is still cold and let it come to temperature with the water. And then as you can see, I filled up the water up to the point of my ingredients so that it can get heat all the way around the container. Purchased these chapstick containers, and since I've never used these specific containers before, I don't really know how many I will yield, but we'll find out together. Typically I would go for a tin, but I'm really conscious about germs these days, so I decided to order some of these chapstick containers. In that way, my germs from my fingers don't go to my mouth. As you can see, the butter and the jojoba oil has mixed together quite nicely, and now we're just waiting for the beeswax to join them. It's really important that we heat it gently, and that's why we're not heating it right into the saucepan. Okay. We are getting there. As you can see, everything is melted through, and as soon as the wax melts, take it off of the heat. So we're gonna pour in the mixture right into the chapstick container. Now we're going to put these in the fridge to cool until they completely harden. This recipe ended up yielding 10 of these little chapstick containers with some of the products still on the container that I heated it in. You can give your chapstick a try just from here. It's feels so nice on my lips. I really like that this is an unscented recipe. You can add some drops of essential oils if you really need a flavor in there, but from my experience, having unscented lip balm is the best because then your lips don't get used to having a feeling on them. I used to use Burt's Bees and Blistex all the time, and then I switched to unscented, and it's a huge difference, and you don't feel like you need that medicated feeling on your lips the whole time. Even with Burt's Bees being natural, it has all of that peppermint oil to kind of give you the idea that you need this tingly feeling on your lips, which I do like. I just don't want to be dependent on it. So if you want to add some essential oils, make sure they are food grade, and you'll want to put it in after you've taken the mixture off of the heat, because once you start heating essential oils, it'll just dissipate. So I would say for this recipe, you want about 5 drops of essential oil if you do want any essential oil at all. Otherwise, unscented is the way to go. It shouldn't take long to completely harden, but I'm gonna wait about an hour and then I'll see you then. While we wait for our lip balm to harden, let's talk about substitutions. I've never used a vegan wax or any other type of wax other than beeswax for this recipe, and I can't speak to whether or not it would work, but from what I've read, it really should work. There are some waxes that are harder than others, so if you're using a harder wax, I would say pull back a little bit on the recipe. As far as liquid oils go, sweet almond oil is a great one. Avocado oil is awesome for the skin too, but personally my favorite is the jojoba oil. And then lastly, you can use mango butter, cocoa butter, or any other types of butters that you prefer. I just prefer the straight up shea butter, and it's the best for my skin. If you're looking for a chapstick with some sun protection, shea butter actually has an SPF rating of between 4 and 6, I believe. You can also add a drop or two of vitamin E oil, but vitamin E appears naturally in the shea butter, so I typically don't add it. This chapstick should stay fresh for about a year, so I usually keep my reserves in a cool, dry place or just right into the fridge until I'm ready to use it, and then I'll take it out whenever I'm done with my first batch. So let's see if the chapstick is hardened. It looks like this chapstick hardened really nicely. Oh my god. And it spreads like a dream. Oh my goodness. If you've never made beauty products before, lip balm is one of the best ones to start with because it's super easy. It takes literally no time, and who doesn't have a chapstick in their pocket? Nobody. So I really hope that you try this at home and like this video if you found it helpful. Liking my videos will help me grow and show more people how to make things at home. And if you want to see more DIYs, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next one.